A few years ago, computer applications were easier to master because they had nowhere near the features or the options available to you today. And it's probably only going to get worse as developers try to give you more and more reasons to upgrade to the new software. Now, of course, you can always find more help as opposed to just using tutorials like these or the books in the bookstore by using the applications themselves. In this case, we can find help in the handy help menu located right here. The first option we have available is System Info. Now, what we're looking at is some of the stuff that Adobe has installed. For example, plugins. And if I scroll up more, we'll eventually get to my system information, which is why I'm going to stop moving my mouse, because it has my login information and all that kinds of stuff. So, what you would do is you would copy this information to the clipboard if need be, and send it to Adobe or whoever you need to deal with so they can find out what's going on in your system as you give them more information about your problems if you're having any with your version of Illustrator or your computer itself. Also, of course, we talked about the welcome screen in another lesson, so I'm not going to go over that again, but once again, it has some great help for you. And we also have Illustrator Help, which will launch an application in a moment called the Adobe Help Viewer. And of course, you can choose from the Browse menu, Illustrator CS3, or any of the other applications you have installed in your Adobe suite. What I can do is look at the contents, click on the plus sign to expand this search area and find other topics that might be interesting to me. Or I can go to the index and look for things based alphabetically. And when I find a topic that interests me, such as file formats, I can go ahead and expand this, click on the option, and then read about it on the right-hand side. I can also find related topics down on the bottom here. And if I want to find this page on the web, I can click here and it will open the Help Resource Center on the internet. And that's helpful if you want to copy the Uniform Resource Locator or the URL or the address of the website, which all of those previous things I just said mean. Then you can paste it into an email and send it to yourself at work and then continue searching the help resources online. We can also use these arrows here to go to topics. So as you can see, there are tons of ways to get help in Adobe Illustrator. So let me jump back to Illustrator. And we have some other choices here for you as well when it comes to registering your software. Activating, deactivating, and checking for updates, which by default, it should check for updates for you. I also have the option to deactivate this version of Illustrator on this computer if I want to transfer my copy to another machine. Now, these applications are only going to be accessible on one machine at a time per the licensing agreement when you purchase the application. So, if I want to use Illustrator on another computer, say I buy a new computer, I have to deactivate the license on this machine and then activate it on another machine. Before you go ahead and do that, I would definitely make sure you read any help notes and find out for sure what the procedure is for activating and deactivating your copy of Illustrator. Now, also, these are helpful when you're working with beta tests. I have the Adobe Creative Suite 3 beta, and I had to deactivate the beta before I can even activate this version of Illustrator on this machine. So once again, make sure you find out what these are going to do for you based on what's currently going on in Adobe.